You're watching the AL East episode right here of New York Minute Sports. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We're only 76 days away from pitchers and catchers, folks. Buck up, get ready, strap in. New York Minute Sports has got you covered. Ken Rosenthal on foul territory, baby. Let's start popping. Let me know in the comments section below who you're repping, what team you're repping, and let's go!
It's New York Minute Sports.
We got Sonny Gray signing with the Boston Red Sox today, and my question as a Yankee fan is, if you think Sonny Gray couldn't succeed in New York, you think he's going to be able to succeed in Boston?
The Red Sox, the team of the day for acquiring Sonny Gray, and very interesting how Chaim Bloom is now running the Cardinals and making a deal with the team that he used to run. What do you think of this trade?
This was quite interesting. And really, it's the second big surprise of the week. Simeon for Nimmo was one. This one is another because my expectation from the Red Sox was that they were going to go to a guy they believed would slot in with some certainty as a number 2 starter in a postseason series behind Garrett Crochet. I'm not sure Sonny Gray at 36 years old is that anymore.
I don't understand why Lucas Giolito wasn't an option for the Boston Red Sox. They go out and get Sonny Gray, a soft-throwing guy, and the reason it mostly didn't work out with the New York Yankees and Sonny Gray was apparently, according to Sonny Gray, was the Yankees were telling him to throw a lot of sliders when he didn't want to throw it. So the Yankees were really dictating the pitch selection for him, and apparently he didn't like that. But he's been pitching in St. Louis, who's been like the Siberia of baseball lately. I don't know what happened to that franchise and that organization, but he comes over to the Boston Red Sox. In my eyes, this is a downgrade from what the Boston Red Sox had last year, and especially add the pressure now, add more years on that arm for Sonny Gray. I am not clicking my, actually, I'm clicking my heels that the Boston Red Sox made a bad move. But as far as I'm concerned, their pitching rotation is not as good as last year so far in this hot stove offseason.
That all said, I thought the Cardinals did well. They did well to get Richard Fitz, who's a major league pitcher, and Clark, who is one of the Red Sox, or had been one of the Red Sox top prospects. They send the Red Sox $20 million of the $41 million that Gray is owed with his restructured contract. So the Red Sox obligation will be $21 million. That's a reasonable number on a 1-year deal for sure. But the Cardinals get players, they get financial relief, and because this deal was front-loaded, Gray's 3-year, $75 million deal, they got the value out of Gray in those first 2 years, and now the big money has to go be paid by the Red Sox in part with the Cardinals. So thought the Cardinals did well. I'm not sure the Red Sox did.
So does this mean that the Red Sox are dumping salary to go after Pete Alonso? Let me know in the comments section below, because the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees this year are on a collision course. And now with the Toronto Blue Jays going to the World Series last year, and now them being in on the Tucker sweepstakes, this AL East could be a 3-headed monster next year in a 3-horse race. Also, I don't believe it until I see it, but the Orioles are saying that they're spending this year, which I don't believe at all. The Orioles never spend. They're really good at saying they're going to spend. They're really good at saying they're going to get starting pitching, but they usually just don't get any starting pitching. And now with all these prospects they have, with a down year last year, the O's better make a bunch of moves. So now you have a competitive AL East. You got 3 teams, even 4 teams in on free agency. This is going to be a race. So the Boston Red Sox thinking a little bit outside of the box. This is what I was saying right here on New York Minute. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. These moves this year are going to be coming from trades. The free agency market is paper thin. It's one of the worst free agency markets we've had in a very long time. So now the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, the Toronto Blue Jays are going to have to get creative with farm system arms, because we don't know if there's going to be a 2027 season. The 2026 season, it seems like the AL East could be the last year of the AL East, is going to be a war by the shore on the East Coast of the United States of America, folks. Let's get back to Ken Rosenthal.
Did well enough, but maybe they see this differently. Maybe they say, you know what? We're not giving $150 million to Dylan Cease or Framber Valdez or Ranger Suarez or Imai. No, let's do 1 year with Sonny Gray, do some other things to upgrade offensively.
And you know what? You also saw the Toronto Blue Jays did this, where you give veterans smaller amounts of money with smaller contracts. The big trend in Major League Baseball now is not giving these pitchers these big contracts. Like Skubal, who's asking for $400 million. Guess what? Those contracts do not age well. You're usually sucking wind for the last 3 years of that, and you're paying for the first 4 years, kind of like CC Sabathia. Also, with these guys nowadays, it's not a matter of if, it's when they're going to need Tommy John surgery. So when you do sign one of these pitchers to a big contract, just know in the back of your head, like a Garrett Cole, and it seems like all the top flight pitchers go through this at one point or another, are down for about a year and a half. So now it doesn't cost to go out and get the big names in pitching. You know what? Stearns tried to do it with a reclamation project of Holmes and Richard Canning and all these different guys. Montas, who should be brought up on war crimes for stealing the amount of money he has from the Yankees and the Mets. That's the way that franchises are going to go soon, because you don't want to dump all this money into a pitcher that's not going to pitch for a year and a half with Tommy John surgery. Go get guys like the Toronto Blue Jays did, like Bassett, like Scherzer. I know they could be a little expensive, but you're not locked up for year after year after year, and it gives you flexibility to go get bats when you need it. So the AL East is heating up.
Maybe get another lesser starter as well. I don't know what they're thinking exactly, but it was an interesting choice to me, the one that they made.
Can you glean anything else from it? Because you kind of just hit on it. Breslow said, hey, we want to get that 1A. We're not looking at 3s, 4s, and 5s, but they're spending essentially the exact same money that they.
Now, my question to you guys is this a reactionary move by the Boston Red Sox trying to match the starting rotation of the New York Yankees in the AL East? Because let me tell you, Toronto Blue Jay fans and Boston Red Sox fans, and hopefully some Oriole fans are watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. The New York Yankees will probably have the best pitching staff in all of Major League Baseball next year. Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Carlos Rodón, Luis Gil, Cam Schlittler, Clark Schmidt, Will Warren, and I definitely know that I'm forgetting somebody. So when you hear those amount of arms, the New York Yankees are locked and loaded, and guess what? They're looking for more pitching. Talking about getting the Japanese pitcher from the Lions over in the NPB League. Also, I think they should go get Michael King. A reunion with Michael King for about $5 to $8 million a year. Yes, he gets hurt, but he can be a middle relief and a spot starter if you need him. And he could be paired up with Yarborough, that left-hander and righty. The Yankees were much better when they had Ramiro Mendoza during the dynasty. They need a decent middle relief guy. They got one in a lefty in Yarborough. Let's load up the pen and the starting rotation with support with Michael King. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yankee fans, what do you want most from the New York Yankees? You're watching the AL East episode right here of New York Minute Sports. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. We're only 76 days away from pitchers and catchers, folks. Buck up. Get ready. Strap in. New York Minute Sports has got you covered. Ken Rosenthal on foul territory, baby. Let's start popping. Let me know in the comments section below who you're repping, what team you're repping, and let's go!
They spent on Walker Buehler. So can we glean the fact that unless there's a free agent out there that is in the Sonny Gray category and will accept 20 or less million a year, the Red Sox are done hunting for pitchers?
I never want to rule anything out, Eric, because at this time of year, things happen that you don't expect. We've seen that already this offseason, and it's still early, and we've seen surprises. But it doesn't seem to me that that's the direction they want to go. They've got other options too. Remember, they've got the two kids coming back totally and early that were so good last year for them.
And I really think the Boston Red Sox are hot and heavy in on Pete Alonso. You know what? The Boston Red Sox haven't done a lot for their fan base, and that has been the biggest complaints from their fan base is that the ownership sucks, that they take home too much money. Sounds very familiar. The same thing can be said for Hal Steinbrenner. But it seems like the Boston Red Sox, now that they have their influx of youth, now they need to add some veteran bats. They're adding some veteran arms, and the Boston Red Sox are loading up, man. The AL East, it's an arms race. You know what? In the early 2000s, it was only the Red Sox and the Yankees you had to worry about in the arms race. Now, the Toronto Blue Jays have entered the chat.
They've got Brian Bayo. They've got Crochet, of course. They have a number of different options, and maybe even Patrick Sandoval comes into play this year. So I don't know that they're done. I can see this being their big pitching move and then investing the rest in offense, but it's hard to know for sure what they're thinking.
All right. Can we rule out JT Realmuto to the Red Sox? I mean, it's hard for me to see it, especially with the fact that you're probably looking at $15 million a year, and it would be kind of a platoon / Narvaez and Realmuto role. Can we rule that out?
You know what, though? JT in that locker room, if the Boston Red Sox lose Bregman, which I don't know if Bregman just left to go get a payday, but if they do lose him, they need some leadership on that team with a young team. I said this is the problem with the New York Yankees. When they got the baby bombers and all this stuff, the New York Yankees desperately need a CC Sabathia or a Brett Gardner to show them how to win, to show them how to close out games. Guys like Jason Dominguez, Ben Rice, they haven't been here before. Anthony Volpe doesn't know how to be a winning player. Usually you look around the locker room, and in 1996, the New York Yankees had Wade Boggs, Cecil Fielder, Tim Rock Raines. Yeah, they didn't win rings, but they were seasoned veterans, okay, and showed guys what to do. Now, JT could be that guy for the Boston Red Sox. And if they bring in Pete Alonso, now you have two veteran bats. You have two veteran presence in that locker room, and that's only if Alex Bregman leaves town. Boston Red Sox fans, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Bregman's also out of town?
Even though we just saw, it was just written that there's interest, the old interest word.
Yeah, I wrote it. And I don't write stories about teams being interested in players lightly because as the story mentions, every team is interested in every player for the most part at this time of year. But I heard this yesterday from a couple of different places. Now, I didn't hear it strong enough to think that it's likely or anything like that, but I thought it was interesting because JT Realmuto, who is going to be entering his age 35 season, is a fit for the Red Sox in a certain respect. If you pair him with Narvaez, who did struggle at the end of last year, albeit with a knee injury, you pair him with Narvaez, you DH him as well, and you re-sign Alex Bregman or another bat. Maybe it's Pete Alonso. That's two bats instead of one. And it just gives you a little bit more oomph. Now, JT Realmuto is still one of the most athletic, if not the most athletic catchers in the game. He's a guy that any team would want. Now, is this the Red Sox top priority? No, I don't believe it is. But could it be something that develops in a certain scenario? I don't see why not. He's a right-handed bat. They need that. He's a leader. They need that. And he is still a highly regarded catcher. But when you look at his market, of course, the expectation within the industry, and my expectation as well, is that he'll re-sign with the Philadelphia Phillies. One of the points of writing something like this,
I'll tell you this. I know a team that needs a right-handed backup catcher bat. And then after the comments that Hal made yesterday, the Yankee fans, as a fan base, reading the tea leaves here, we don't know what the Yankees are going to do this offseason. Either they could be rebuilding the Death Star or they could be shopping at the dollar store, and there will be no in between. And the first move with Trent Grisham for $22 million, I hope it doesn't end there. But, man, the finances have really changed in Major League Baseball, and now the New York Yankees look like the cheapskates on the block.
And we listed some other teams as well, is to show that it's not just the Phillies. It's never just one team looking at these guys. And teams will make mistakes, in my opinion, when they think, he has no market. We're good. It's too often in free agency you can get blindsided when you think that way. Do I think this is likely with Realmuto to Boston? No. But it certainly is interesting to me that it would at least be a possibility for them in the many, many possibilities.
If I was the New York Yankees, I would be ringing his phone and seeing what's up. If you can get him for a deal, veteran minimum, $4 or $5 million with a right-handed bat and catch every fourth day, maybe even DH a little bit, even when, Giancarlo Stanton's going to miss half a season so he can do DH. Spots are open for him. I wouldn't be mad if the Yankees took a flyer on him.
Bregman, Alonso, which is a better fit? To me, Bregman kind of going to Boston just kind of screams perfect fit for Boston. I know they have some young internal candidates that could play third base, but I felt like Bregman was the exact guy that team needed.
I agree with that, Kevin. And to me, Bregman is a difference maker in so many ways. Obviously, the bat, that's one thing.
I'll tell you this, Alex Bregman, every time he gets into a big situation in a big spot, he gets the big hit. You know what? I couldn't stand the New York Yankees saying last offseason the reason that they didn't get him when they desperately need a third baseman was they didn't like the way that he hit in Yankee Stadium. Well, guess what? He ate your lunch for years and years and years playing against the New York Yankees. And then we had this platoon of a Miguel Andujar 2.0 with Paredes and whatever we had playing third base this year. And then you just let a guy like Alex Bregman go. Red Sox fans, Alex Bregman, you just let him opt out and walk out the door. Why didn't you guys do everything to keep him? Was it the fact that he doesn't want to be a Red Sox anymore, or does he want to wring more money out of the Boston Red Sox? Or did Alex Bregman go to the Boston Red Sox and see what of an actual mess it is behind closed doors? Because you got to remember the Rafael Devers whole disaster with him coming to the team, him asking to move out of position, and he's no even longer a Boston Red Sox after signing him for that $300 million plus contract. Now he's playing for the San Francisco Giants. So I don't know if Bregman's coming back to the Boston Red Sox. If I was the Yankees, I would try to move on from McMahon, go sign Bregman. Depends on how many years he wants, but maybe if we had George Steinbrenner instead of Hal, I shop at the dollar store Steinbrenner, we could actually have our cake and eat it too.
The defense, really good. That's another thing. And also that intangible that he brings to a team. And we've seen it now, and we've seen it documented. He helps other players improve. He makes suggestions even to pitchers, and he is a total difference maker in the clubhouse. Now, that's not why you sign a guy if he's not a good enough player.
Yeah, but all three of the things that Ken just mentioned there would fit the Orioles, the Yankees, and the Red Sox. All teams with an influx of youth that need some veteran presence on telling them how to win. And Bregman is the dude. Bregman's got rings. He's been in every ALCS, AL, whatever. He's been there. He's done that. He did it against the Yankees in the stadium in the playoffs against the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees when they played in the first round this year. Bregman was lights out.
You don't. But Bregman, to me, is still the best fit. I know they've got Meyer, and they want to find a position for him, but you put Bregman at third base, you worry about the rest later. He's a better fit than Alonso for me. One, because of the defensive ability. Two, because you have Tristan Casas. First base isn't.
See, and this is the problem. The early 2000 Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox would have went out and got Alonso and got Bregman and been like, all right, let's go for another division. But the times have changed. The Boston Red Sox have become even bigger cheapskates than the New York Yankees. And yeah, that's saying a lot.
Easier position to fill long-term if Casas is not the answer. So while Alonso would be a good fit as well if they lost Bregman, Bregman to me still is the guy that they should be targeting first and foremost, and I expect that they will.
Hold on. Just think about this. Pete Alonso hit into that green monster from his right-handed power. Dude, you would have to replace the green monster from all the dents in it. And also, imagine the windshield policies that would be over the green monster for the cars parked across the street. Because I think Pete Alonso is a no-brainer for the Boston Red Sox. He's a no-brainer for the New York Mets. Last year, the New York Mets sent him out and go, all right, try and test the market, Pete. You won't get anything. He came walking back with his tail between his legs. Then, in the first half of the season, he was in the MVP race, had a great year last year, opted out and told the Mets to go fuck off because he wants more money. and now Pete Alonso's looking for his payday. But will the cheapskate Boston Red Sox give it to him, or will Uncle Stevie wait it out once again and go, hey, Pete, come back with your tail in between your legs, and then we'll pay you?
All right. Now that Sonny Gray's gone, Arenado and Wilson Contreras.
We got to stop hearing about Nolan Arenado. This guy is shot. All right. He was the best baseball player on the World Baseball Classic 2 World Baseball Classics ago. This guy is way over the hill. The Yankees are infatuated with this guy. The reason he wasn't a Yankee last year is because he's best friends with DJ LeMahieu and Paul Goldschmidt, so he didn't want to come there and take his job. But if I hear about this again, this is going to be Josh Donaldson 2.0. The Boston Red Sox, if you guys cheap out and get Nolan Arenado instead of Bregman, God help you. And if he wears Yankees pinstripes next year, I'm going to be absolutely pissed. I hope they don't try to move Ryan McMahon for Nolan Arenado in a contract or a salary dump or whatever it's got to be. I don't want anything to do with Nolan Arenado. And if you're a team in the East, I'll be clicking my heels if you get him to play first base for you next year.
Is it more likely, less likely?
Third
because
base,
of
sorry.
How much the money was taken, or is this agenda number 1 and 2 to possibly get rid of Wilson Contreras and Arenado?
Arenado for sure. He's going to go, in my expectation. Wilson Contreras is a little bit different. He has said he wants to stay. Now, will he want to stay once they start trading not only those guys, but Brendan Donovan and potentially Lars Nootbaar, Nolan Gorman? That's a different question. And maybe at that point, Wilson Contreras says, you know what, I can go too. It's kind of the same logic, different circumstance, but we've written this, Dan Hayes of The Athletic has, that if the Twins keep taking it apart, if they trade Joe Ryan, trade Pablo Lopez, then Byron Buxton would say, what am I doing here? I can get traded too. I'll be waiving my no trade clause if you find the right fit.
Well, Byron Buxton, that's a no-brainer for the New York Mets. I think he would be perfect for them. Even reminds me of like a bigger Mike Cameron that used to be on the Seattle Mariners and also one-time Met. But guys, that's the AL East. Ken Rosenthal, get you up to date, let you know what's going on in the AL East. And also, I'm going to be doing a lot more AL East Central shows right here on New York Minute, because guess what? This could be the last year of the AL East, because we know the strike season's coming down the barrel in 27 with realignment, franchises, a bunch of baseball is going to change, and I'll be here covering it all for you. New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports for New York Nuts. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and remember, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. Bye.